I'm curious. What's the as you're a student and it's now you're a lot more knowledgeable in the field. What does the perfect film look like and why?
Perfect film. When Well, first of all, I really like writing, which means the first thing I'm looking at is like in retrospect, I'm gonna think, okay, this shot work or this specific sound. But what I'm looking at first is just the whole story. I'm looking at the whole story arc. Does it make sense from start to finish? Are there things from the beginning that they pick up at the end? And is like there a whole dramatic plot twist to it? So I think that I like rom-coms just because they're very light-hearted and they're just good for your soul. It's like, oh, this was cute. But I really like it. It doesn't have to be a big movie like Dune, you know, or like Star Wars or Fast and Furious, where you have like all those special effects flying around and all of that. For me, it just has to be just a really nice story where you can be like, okay, I really like this character. I really think like, okay, they've really dissected the character so well that I want to be that character.
Okay. So for instance, par example.
Okay, I would say Jurassic Park is a big one, but it also has a lot of special effects in it. So next to that one, I would say either 10 Things I Hate About You. I don't know if you know that film, but I
Oh,
really
it's
like that
with
film.
I never I know of it and I've seen stuff from it, but I don't didn't watch the film yet. It's with what's his
Heath,
face? Yeah,
Heath
Heath
Ledger. Yeah, really, really good movie. I could watch it over and over again and I could not get tired of it, really. Just the whole story, it is so, so good. It is very stereotypical with the high school stuff and the different uh, groups of people there, but it's just from start to finish. You get the huge plot twist in it, you get different perspectives of the characters. Each character is so specific. What are their goals and aims in life, and what do they want, and what do they need? And it's just very, very good. The other film I thought was what was also really good is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days
Right, okay.
with Matthew McConaughey and I think it was Kate Hudson. I really like those two films.
I feel like that one I might have seen. That one I might have seen. I'm not sure.
She's basically she's working for a magazine company and the other one for an advertising one. And she has to write an article about how to lose a guy in 10 days. So she has to meet a guy and has to get rid of him in 10 days. And he has a bet with his friends. He has to make a woman fall in love with him in 10 days. And of course, the two of them meet. She tries to get rid of him, but he tries to fall in love with her, and it's just she's driving him crazy, but it's like I really want to win that bet. So it's very funny
Oh
what
yeah,
they do.
that. Okay, that would be a hilarious. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
the
so for me
premise.
it's yeah, for me it's really just the story has to work. That really has to be it. It doesn't have to be like, wow, this just looks amazing, like with the whole like there's a UFO in the background and there's a dinosaur running around and it's just, yeah, it looks cool, but the story has to be gripping so that you can actually sit down and you can be like, I want to see how this ends.
Okay, well that kind of asks the question. So what's the worst film you've seen? Because so basically during lockdown I went on a rampage and I literally watched the worst films voted by the public. So I watched like
Wow.
7 of them and
Uh-huh.
reviewed and recapped them. And let me tell you, there's some bad films out there, but oh my god, they're fucking hilarious. Like they can be so entertaining if they're really bad. You're like, oh, okay.
Now which ones were they?
I watched The Room. I watched Samurai Cop, which I can't get over Samurai Cop. That was brilliant.
I don't know that one.
It's like an 80s American guy, police officer, who's also a samurai for no reason, and he's fluent in Japanese. He is not fluent in Japanese, let me tell you. Iron Sky. I think the most surprising one was the Poison Rose because it had like Morgan Freeman, John Travolta, Peter Stormare, Famke Janssen, like all these
Big
big,
names.
yeah, big names. The film was fucking awful. Sorry,
Oof.
sorry for all the hard work you put into it. It was not great.
Mm. Well, for me,
It doesn't have to be
yeah,
bad. It was just like nah. It can be like okay, it did not work for me at all. Like some movies, I understand there's a lot that goes into them, but sometimes it just does not click, or the studio gets involved and messes it up.
okay, so I think I got two. Um, and I'm sure that there are a lot of more films that I completely dislike just because of the story or just the whole thing and like the characters. So the first one is I watched this in at uni was Train Spotting. It is a whole okay, I see you're offended right now.
I'm not offended. I'm just like, let me finish my tea. Go on, lady. Tell me about Trainspotting.
Train Spotting is, I know it's a classic, I know, and there are very big characters in it, and the whole story. It's an adaptation too, so there has been a lot of work going into it. It just did not work for me, just because I personally I cannot get my head around the whole drug topic and like the whole
The heroin addiction.
yeah, just I just really did not like that topic. Like I don't like movies that just evolve just around that because the whole film was just about him and like dealing with it.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's a massive drama in a lot of people's lives. You know,
Yeah.
trying to get out of it.
I mean, I like how they depicted it just because like of the different viewpoints and when he's like trying to do this when he stopped doing it and he's in this room and he gets like all those
We're all afraid.
hallucinations.
Yeah, the baby
Yeah.
on the wall. Yes,
Yeah.
the feeling.
I mean, it for me just didn't work. I just really didn't like the story. I don't know. I couldn't get my head around it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And the other one is The Revenant with DiCaprio. He got an Oscar for that movie and he said like two lines in the whole thing. He's such a big character and he's done so many great movies. I've watched this. I was like, okay, let's do this, because it's DiCaprio. I went in there with so many expectations. They were pretty high. And then I watched this and he doesn't say a word. He just gets attacked by the bear. And then in the end, it's like the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And then in the end, it's like, and the Oscar goes to DiCaprio. I'm like,
Well,
what?
I'm sorry. He ate raw elk meat or whatever. Raw some. He slept inside of a bear. How do you not give an Oscar for that?
I know, but it's like okay, the acting was great. I'm not saying anything against it because he is a great actor, and people like him, they are just dying out. Okay, there's no one else like him. But I was like, I need story and I need dialogue. I don't know. I just really like dialogue.
Yeah, it's a personal preference. Fair play.
Yeah.
Probably if Tarantino was watching the film, like, I wonder what I would say in this moment.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now I'm just curious because everyone's got different, different tastes, different preferences, as you said. So,
Yeah.
all right, okay, okay.
For
Uh,
others, it's just like how can you show a scene like just by pure like what do they do, not how they talk and what they say. It's just like how do you put the characters in the framing and what do they do so you can actually tell the story without any words. And some people really like that as an artistic
choice.
element. Yeah.
Fair enough. So you like your characters to talk and
Yeah.
preferably nice people.
And I just grew up with operas and I just really thought like in that kind of area, people talk a lot. It's not about the framing. It's like it has to be dramatic. You have to talk, and talk. And
Armando,
so I
what did
think,
you do to me?
yeah, exactly.
All right, okay, fair enough. But I've noticed you most of the films you met, well, the two films you mentioned, they were actually like from a technical point of view, they're very well done. They, I was
Yes, yes,
curious if
they
you've
really.
seen, I was curious if you've seen any movie that was like technically just so bad. Besides student films. Besides student.
Yeah, besides student films, I can't come up with anyone right now. I'm really
All right.
sorry. It's
Okay. No. I'm just curious because, like, as I said, I spent a significant part of the lockdown watching really bad movies.
really
Oh my God.